Why they're doing this? I give them my two theories. Theory one, we have friendly extraterrestrials that have opened it for a reason. What that reason is yet, I do not know. But this will not be the last I'm working on. I'm not stopping after this. I'm going to be digging very deep. I'm going to be continuing working on this. And as I get new information, you'll be getting the information, everything I get, Carrie. Is this friendly ETs have opened up for some reason? That could be. And it could be that now we have the major heavy hitter countries from all over the world who have brought in warships, not cargo ships, but warships by the masses that are literally in this giant circle that have created this perimeter. They've even, is there scientific research there where a certain doctor who attempted suicide, oh yes, that worked directly for this research company, said the world needs to know, and then all of a sudden, unexplainably went crazy and tried to kill herself, who worked for a company that the information has gotten out that are doing research on combining alien and human DNA.
Okay. Now I have to tell you that last night we had contact with a whistleblower. And this is just one of those synchronicities that goes on with Project Camelot. Today we were having this interview with you. This was planned ahead. And last night, inadvertently, we got in touch with a whistleblower who has worked for the military, actually Space Command, and was talking about the Golfo de Adén. And I didn't get all the information, even though we talked for like 6 hours, and we will release that pretty soon, that interview. But he was saying, he was talking about synthetic beings, synthetic robots for all intents and purposes. Project Camelot was in touch with a secret source last night who was talking about synthetic beings and basically, I guess, some form of biological robot, I guess, that are being created, and some which may be also coming here, in other words. And so I am wondering whether or not the Golfo de Adén is specifically connected with a possible invasion of these synthetic beings. Is there anything that, any hookup that you know of in this regard?
There has been talk about it amongst me and some other people that I'm in direct contact with that were part of multiple projects under MKULTRA. That's something that we've discussed, but we weren't sure if we really wanted to go public with that just yet because, what I'm saying already and what people are going to say is going to invoke fear. But with fear can build strength, and using that fear, turn it around to really find out what's going on. But yes,
okay.
It's something that we have talked about, that it indeed is being used to bring in synthetic beings that were made off planet.
Okay.
Now, I'm just curious. Now I've got a question for you. I'm going to turn around and ask you a question. Your contact last night, when he was talking about these synthetic beings that are being created on planet, I'm curious if he's referring to the Omega program.
Okay, he didn't name that program. He simply was referring to both aspects. In other words, the one which is that the military in China as well as the U.S. has been creating these beings, and that there is also, and it was really interesting, and obviously we're going to be releasing the interview shortly, but he was talking about these beings that were created in association on Atlantis, who were then taken off planet to another planet and allowed to develop. Basically, they developed themselves. However, they're synthetic. For all intents and purposes, they don't have a soul, and that they are now, for some reason, returning to our planet, and that they are, let's say, not happy and they are also, and this is the testimony from our witness. So it just dovetails in a very interesting way. Now, this person was not able to say whether they had arrived yet. I think that he was indicating that they had not, but I'd have to go back over the transcript to verify that.
From the information that I've been able to gather, my intuition says that they are currently arriving because of the huge electromagnetic anomaly that happened specifically on January 5th of this year, 2010.
Okay, are you talking about the blue spiral over Norway?
There has been speculation that blue spiral and other spirals have been showing up over Norway. Could that be related to this? It could be. I don't have enough information to say yes or no. I would not be surprised, though. If in some way it has direct relation to it, I would not be surprised. But I don't want to say absolute.
Okay.
I'll allow people to do their own research, and I'm going to continue to do my research. It's interesting what you just mentioned about the soulless beings, because the project that I was mainly a part of, the project that I was in reality, from the time I was a child, was prepared for. And that's, again, we will get into that on the next interview. Project Seagate. Project Seagate was a major project with a huge underground base location, and they were working on many different sub-projects. Project Seagate is almost like a subversion of MKULTRA. Project Seagate, one location, but had many sub-projects. Everything from the Human Dolphin Super Soldier program to an Omega program where they were making soulless beings for remote viewing and actual, via the Seagate, being able to put people, and yes, this is real people, their astral self, their energy, their soul, into one of these robots for covert operations, so that if the body gets killed, they are able to extract and put it in. I have people that I know that this has happened to, and we have absolute evidence of this happening.
So this is a lot like Avatar, basically. You're talking about military personnel that basically they're going in, inhabiting these robotic beings.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
And also they found that it was easier to have this for traveling for operations through the Seagate, off planet. My specific role, which I don't want to get into right now because it's very complicated, but I will say that my involvement with Project Seagate was very high up, very in depth, and I've been to some interesting locations.
Okay. Do you think that you yourself were doing some of this, and I don't know, having your essence go into one of these robotic beings and travel, or is your experience different than that?
I worked with people that did that, but because of my specific training, as far as alterations that were done to my body, even as a young child, some memories are coming back that even my parents have no recollection of. I was able to physically be relocated because of what was done to me. And there's another person that you were in contact with who was able to do the same thing, who actually was a person I worked with closely that was there.
Okay.
And this person who, when the time comes, this person will be talking to you.
Sure.
Someone you've already talked to will be speaking of the Project Seagate as well.
Okay, and you've some unique abilities in terms of water. Is there a thought that you yourself were, I don't know, your DNA was combined with, for example, a dolphin? Is that possible?
I'm learning new things about myself almost every day. With me, anything is really possible because I've been told some things by reliable sources.